All right, good morning. Welcome to Big Happy Trading. It is Monday, May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you. Me and my kids, my wife is kind of dorky with this. We had all had our Star Wars shirts on. So we had to take a May the 4th, May the 4th be with you. We had to take a picture before the boys went to school of all of us in our Star Wars shirts today. So geekoramas, but cool. So it is 8:05. I'm in my second trade. I had I got a piece of that short, this big drop at 6 a.m. Let me look at my brokerage account here. Let me see what I got on that. So I was in a short from last night on that thing. So I was in a loss temporarily. So before I went to bed. So I was in at I shorted 72.72 and I got out at 72.30. So that was a nice drop. So what, 72.72, and I got it at 72.30. Yeah, well, so this morning I wasn't even up yet. So I got 40 points out of that. I was on a nice 40 point. I'd set it. So I got 40 point trade. I could now in hindsight, I wasn't awake, but I mean, it could have been, what did I say, 72.30. Could have been a 50 plus pointer, but I mean, I have no problem making profits, guys, and taking a uh, 40 point whack is pretty darn good. I'll take that. This thing looks like it wants to come back and stop me out at break even. But I think if this rejects our VWAP, we're still in. So let's just see. I got in on this trade on the 5 minute. I got in on this retrace and rejection of VWAP. I had set an order here. If this thing comes back down after it spiked up, if it comes back down, and it did, and it got me in at 72.51. So either that was going to kill me quick or go in my favor, which it did. I set my stop as my rules are when I got to 10 points. So 72, once I got down to 10 points, I moved my stop to break even. That's just my rule. There's a lot of people disagree with that, but that's for my psychology. I don't want to turn a winner into a loser. If it turned into break even where I cover my fees, I'm okay. I can have a bunch of those and I have no problem having those, even if it goes in my direction. Let's get my free chill music going on. Might be a little loud. So let's go over some news here. Well, why we dropped at 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's look at this. So this drop happened, boom, at 5:55 a.m. And that's a pretty good. Let's see how big that drop was. So in the 10-minute candles, we dropped 50 points. That's a pretty good drop. So here's why. So Iran's control zone stretches. Iran's Navy prevented the entry of warships. Um, so, man, we are far from finding peace here. So, two missiles hit U.S. warship near Jack Island after it ignored warnings of Iran's Fars new. That's far. When that came out, that ripped us down. Now, it comes out that then Iran says we're controlling more. Iran's Navy says prevented the entry of U.S. warships. I think it's something, Operation Freedom something, where Trump says he's going to assist ships through that want to get out of the Hormuz Strait. And Iranians are having none of that. So then the U.S. denied that any ship was hit with Iran missiles. And I believe, and CENTCOM says no U.S. Navy ships have been struck. And then, if I read correctly, Iran said they fired warning shots. Senior Iranian official, Iran fired a warning shot against U.S. warship to prevent its entry into the Strait of Hormuz. Unclear whether there was any damage. So, first of all, Iran says they fired missiles or shot missiles. Two missiles hit a warship, which is not true apparently. But on that news, the market tanked. Now, Iran is saying that they fired warning shots, which is significantly different than missiles hitting. So we're sitting there and I am got a short bias because I don't, with all of this news, where in the world are we going to go, okay, wow, this looks great. We are 50 points only off of all-time high, 5-0, which is given that, let's look at oil real quick. If this doesn't reject off that, then we're going to be out. But let's see if we get a rejection off this VWAP here. We're in no hurry, so let's see what happens. So on my brokerage account, another confluence I use is the 200. And if you're below the 200, you're below the VWAP. We're below the 200. That is good for you wanting to be short. So if we get a rejection of this VWAP, I think we could get back down and go back down here. My bias today is short, is bearish. There's no good news. Positive earnings have been absorbed on that rip up to 7,300. There's possible interest rate hike fears. They're now talking about June increases in Europe and stuff like that, which is crazy. And oil still spiked up on that news this morning to 107. Man, that would have been a nice short to jump back in there, but I wasn't on it. And now we're still over $100 a barrel. If this maintains at $100 a barrel, nothing good is going to happen in the world. So this is pretty serious, in my opinion, that oil is going to stay high. Yeah, looks like we got rejection off that VWAP, so the trade's still valid. So we're in it. Oh, my stupid cat. My wife's stupid cat, not my cat. Uh-oh. It wants to go back up here. Let's see if we got any news. Oh, yeah, pop me out. Break even. That's all right. So we broke even. My bias is still short. This 1 minute running up here was pretty, not strong, but it was steady.
According to CENTCOM, American forces are actively assisting efforts to restore transit for commercial shipping.
Okay, what is that?
2 U.S. flagged merchant vessels have successfully transited through Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, there's going to be some between the Iranians and the U.S. Iran's going to go nothing. No one's getting through. 2 U.S. flagged merchant vessels have successfully transited through the Strait of Hormuz. This is a pissing contest here. Trump saying, I'm doing what I say I'm going to do. We're going to go right through there. And the Iranians are saying, we'll bomb. We're controlling everything. You don't go through. I think today may get. I think we're gonna go short here today. Based on that news, look at this thing. Based on that Trump got a ship through, look at that. All right, so we broke even on this one. That's hilarious. This guy, nowhere in the world. Can you imagine back in the trading floor days? You know, president information wouldn't get to insider trading. Must have been just epic then. It is epic now, bad, but I mean, the president would make something like this, and it have to go across the teletype or make the news or breaking report, and then trickle into the market. But now, literally, Trump says 2 U.S. flag merchant vessels successfully transited through the Strait of Hormuz. The market considers that good news, and it goes up. You know, not a massive amount of points, but it goes up, which is just unbelievable. So I got, let me mark down here. So on this, let me see what I was in at. What I say I was in. Yeah, I was short 72.72. That's Sunday night. And my target was TP 72.30. I just set it at 72.30. So yeah, so I made 40 points. This hit at 6 a.m. So this is this hit break even, so we didn't make anything on this one. So we'll put break even hit. So no profit on this one, but no loss. We could have taken 10 points out of this thing. So I was in at 72.51.
And he says, I think I will meet with Rubio in Rome.
Or could have made 14 points. So if I'd have just set it at 10 and walked away, I could have taken 10, which I'll do a lot of times. I just didn't with this one. But I'm still bearish. My bias is still bearish. And if this one crosses the 1 minute, if this crosses across this 20, I'll fire another short because I don't see anything or hear anything or feel anything that is going to I trade what I see. That's my bias is bearish, but I'm not just looking. I see what this is not a strong uptrend. This recovery here, I'm assuming was a lot of bot buying. There's orders. They have a lot of orders to fill. So when this thing ripped down and this started buying, there's not John Q public. This is the end of the London session. I mean, unless London's trying to buy this thing up at the end, which, yeah, it could be. I don't know. But again, I trade what I see. This strong downtrend, but it ripped all the way back up and recovered a good portion of that. I'm still bearish. So I got 40 points in the kitty, which applies to my Monday.
CNBC US Trade Representative Greer says we expect to wrap up trade probes into practices this summer.
Excuse me. So this gap fill from this run up previous, this thing pretty much filled this 7207. 7 points away, but I call that a fill. And there was a 50% retrace that we hit of that. And the gap I'm referring to is this last run up. Had a big, where's that at? This big run up here. This was just a straight rip. I'm calling it was not a real gap up, but this was a straight run up. So this once was resistance. Now I think kind of flipped to support 7207. And if you are not marking out levels, guys, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Levels matter. So let's mark this out just so we got all-time high 7,300. Let's look at the 7207 is let's call this support. I don't know how strong that is. And then really below, we got the New York low from 7130. That's from what, last Wednesday? Hold on, let me see if I'm going to go short here real quick. Yeah, I'm going short again, 7250. Let me see, 7250. So the exact same order. That's funny. $72.51.50. Yep, $72.51.50. We're in. So we're short again. 72.51.50 at 8:30 a.m. All right. And we're using on the 1 minute chart. So let's take this off. So entry is 1 minute cross. So you can see here, we did 1 minute cross. It's pretty aggressive. If you don't have the stomach for it, I wouldn't suggest getting into these kind of trades. But we've got some money in the kitty, and I have a bearish bias, so I believe trade what I see. That's it. So what was I saying here? The New York low is 71.30 on 429. It's on 429. So between this support and our all-time high, well, we're about 80 or 93 points, so almost 100 points. That's a pretty big move for the ES. If we were to get down to 71.30, that's a really big. We'd have to have some really bad news here. So let's look at some. Let me mark out some other. So at 72.13, I said the gap fills 72.30, but let's just, so this is, let's mark this out as the low. $72.13 pre-market low. And that was a what, at 6 a.m., somewhere around that, at 6 a.m. So levels matter. I'm not going to put that up here on the right, but we can see it here. So as we're trading, but you're looking at these levels here. As we're sitting 72.50, we're only 50 points off the all-time high, which is just oil's at $103 a barrel. We're at war. All the profits. There's potential interest rate hikes on the horizon, and we're hitting all-time highs. Gas. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Indiana. I saw at a gas station yesterday, regular unleaded, $5, and I saw diesel at $7. Then I saw it at $6 at another gas station. But so I mean, I don't know what kind of gouging is going on there. Um, oh, that was on the. I added to my short, guys. That was my order. So I've got two contracts. Now I'm at 72.50 average because I got in instead of 70.51. I'll just leave it. It's close enough. Um, so we got what, 72.13 is that low? I think we could smash that thing. check this out. So we did not hit our TP. We broke even on that one. So CENTCOM is saying American forces are actively assisting efforts to restore transit for commercial shipping, which we know. But then Iran is saying they're shooting at ships if we try to help. So in Indiana, we've got gas. That's regular unleaded is like $4.80, $4.20 to $4.80 a gallon. That's what they're saying. So we're pretty close to the lowest in the nation. But if you in my car, I use the middle grade, which is the 89, and that's like 5. Yeah, it's like 5 something. 4. Yeah, it's close to 5 something. I think it's painful. Painful for regular Americans and people. This is crazy. Crazy town. So I'm not gonna say I don't typically trade news. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna eliminate this landline with my new setup. Sorry guys. I can't remember a time where I know when we're at war, obviously we've got to be aware of what's going on. But the news cycle driving price so radically is just it's changed trading. Like when I first started trading 15 plus years ago, obviously news and interest rates and CPI and all that stuff you had to be aware of those days, those red folder events. But not like now. Now I've got to be financial juice is maybe the most valuable tool I have besides my charting. Because if I don't know what's happening in real time and you see these wild swings, this thing has saved me of I could say it saved me thousands of dollars or made me money where, I'm in the right position. Now, it still is an indicator that is delayed. So it's not telling me what's happened, but I can tell you, I've been listening to live in the past. I've listened to live YouTube feeds of news and this, and this financial juice comes in 30, 40 seconds sooner than a lot of the news outlets of what's happening. And then this dude just talks to me, which anyway, but having to trade news like we're doing now, it's it's crazy town.
And Maersk said that they welcome the US plan to guide ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and they will factor the US plans into their ongoing security reviews.
Okay, so that's considered good news. Somebody said, I think some of the Europeans, he said, someone welcomes us assisting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's probably going to be, I don't know how much it's going to be market. Oh, there we go. Maersk. We welcome U.S. plan to guide ships through Hormuz. I don't know who is Maersk. I don't know who that is.
Canadian Finance Minister Lescure says, willing to keep working on US trade deal in good faith, and then I'm not planning to put any tariff on the channel. So that's Lescure saying, I'm not planning to put any tariff on the UK.
Okay, so Maersk is the largest shipping logistics company in the world, which is good. Okay, so that should be considered. They operate. It's a Danish multinational shipping giant, located in Copenhagen. So
Lescure says any other option is on the table if needs be on the US.
So that's quite interesting that Denmark, they like the Danish, they like to remain neutral. So coming out and saying that they welcome we welcome U.S. Plan to guide ships through Hormuz. That's kind of a big deal for them. And they say they'll factor U.S. plans into ongoing security reviews. Also interesting. I'm interested to see what time is it in Iran now, right now. All right, it's 4:17 p.m. in Iran. So, I mean, we could have some fireworks if they're still trying to do some escorting. And it's weird. Why every other place in the right now it's 8:48, and typically everything is round hours away from this, but this is. You think it would be 4:48 or 3:48? It's 4:18. Odd. Amigo. Hey, ¿qué pasó? PM? Well, that's not good. Well, it doesn't matter, I guess. I guess it won't take him that long to put it in. Oh, okay. But we got to help him get it in the attic, right? No, I know it's on him, but I mean, are we gonna? I wanted to fix that corner with the boom lift. Where's damage? Okay, all right. And then plumbing wise, I didn't understand. So you said you found the plumbing. I saw what? Oh, okay, okay. Okay, yeah, I saw that. I went over. I didn't see. I thought I would see a lot more. Make as many holes as you need, amigo. You know that I don't care. We gotta have. We gotta have agua, or we're dead meat. So, all right. Let me. I know, but we have to do it. I don't. You know, it's plaster, and it's gonna be harder to fix. But I don't. You know, we're gonna have to do it. And if Chad can't repair it, then I'll find someone who can. Maybe Claudia. She can do it. Yeah, she'd be very happy with me. So, all right, amigo. I'll talk to you, bye.
ECB's De Guindos says the war shock may be affecting inflation more than growth. De Guindos adds that it is important to have cool heads when setting rates.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hit inflation. This $100 a barrel of oil is just negatively going to crush. They're going to have to do something here because this is not going to work. So there could be some kind of positive tweet from Trump. Everything is fantastic. We're winning magnificently. And yeah, the ECB, he's smart. You don't just want to start raising rates, man. But there's got to be an end in sight here, or this will get ugly.
ECP's DeGuinda says market valuations are very high.
I hear that guy. Market valuations are very high. No duh. Complete disconnection to what's happening in the world. These companies are making bajillions of dollars. So yeah, valuations I'd say are very high. Yeah, oil's still at 102. That'd have been a nice short from that pop this morning. What, 107? Yeah, 107. So it looks like the YM, the Dow, is going to fill. It closed Friday at 49,653. What I got down there? Yeah. At 49,653. Close enough, whatever that is. I had a short on that one too that I hit. Which came out nice. NQ and the ES are pretty well correlated. Looks like the NQ is rolling over a little bit, which I'd like to see that roll over, and then the ES follow would be nice. What's Russell doing? Russell is kind of.
U.S. Energy Department reports that the U.S. gives companies until 2 p.m. Eastern Time to submit U.S. SPR solicitations.
Hey, good morning. Rian, right? Rian Heifer. You in any trade? Did you hit it?
Chairman's Finance Minister Klingbeil
I
said
rarely
the
trade.
US to stick to the deal on tariffs.
I rarely trade gold. If it takes forever, that's right. Hey, listen, I was in last night. I was in a short at 70 over here. You can see here. I was in 72. I set a stop on that thing, and then I had a target of 72.30. And this morning, before I even got to the computer, that thing hit me. But that's nice. So I'm in a short right now. Right about break even. I had one earlier at 72.51 that broke even, and I'm in again at 72.51. I'm just not buying any of this. What strategy do you use, if you don't mind me asking?
The effective Fed fund rate is unchanged at 3.64% for May the 1st.
Yeah, I think you're better to trade those 1 hour time frames on gold, because gold can be such a crazy wild bucking bronc. So if you've not been here with me before, I trade the 920 EMA Cross. That's the only
Statement from
strategy
South
I
Korea
use.
says that they are checking whether a Korean vessel was attacked in Hormuz. This is coming from Yon Hap.
And is this your first time seeing me, getting on with me? Oh, that's good news. It's dropping, boom, like a rock. My shirt's looking bueno. It's dropping like La Roca. Nice.
Witnesses report that the UAE sends an emergency alert for potential missile threats.
Yeah, let me manage this real quick, and then I'll talk to you and tell you what I do and
Just
how I
checking
trade.
WTI crude here is again the UAE issues a potential missile threat alert. So again, just to repeat that, we're seeing from witnesses that the UAE has issued a potential missile threat alert. They're correlating to some weakness in S&P features, strength in the dollar, and WTI oil as well.
So yeah, I'll give you. So I trade. Give you a little background. We're not in a real hurry here, but I started trading around 15, probably 17 years ago when I first got my first account, and I can tell you, and if you've been trading a while, you've probably done the same thing as me. I paid thousands of dollars for options trading and all of that. I got a lot of good stuff from. I don't want to say that I didn't get my value out of it, but fundamental market stuff, and I traded options at the beginning, and then I had a career, I had a job, and I worked like a million hours a week. So anyway, long story short, I've traded. I've looked at every single strategy that's out there: orb, reversals, ICT concepts, fair value gaps, and I'll tell you the ICT gave me heartburn. The worst thing that happened when I tried the orb strategy a few years ago, that the first week it worked like a charm. And I'm not saying any of these are not fantastic. I think simplicity is the most important thing to me. So I started trading in 2021, early 2021. I started really looking at the 920, and I'm following the 9 and SMB Capital, which is a huge broker or a huge Wall Street firm. They've got a couple scalpers on their. Yeah, the orb is very hit and miss. And the worst thing that could happen to me is I hit it the first week, and I'm telling my kids and my wife, I'm like, "Oh, we found it. This is this is it." And then I got smacked around. So and again, I don't anyone else. I'm not bashing anyone else's strategy. The most important thing is having an edge, and when you see it, execute it. That's it. You don't think about it. You just do it. And to me, that's the biggest. That's the biggest key. That's my. Yeah. SMB Capital is. They've got just fantastic traders and
Fox
training
News
material.
with U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent on Iran saying that the U.S. is opening up the strait.
So going back to this, so I started
So
trading.
again, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent currently speaking on Fox News.
So that could drive the market, but that's all right. So we're gonna
Bessent says
we're
we
still,
have absolute control of the Hormuz Strait.
which I don't believe. Do you use Financial Juice? I'm sorry you hear this guy talking, but this is the best besides my broker. Besides my broker and besides TradingView, this Financial Juice is the single best thing I've ever purchased. I don't have to go anywhere. I got one place I don't listen to other traders because that gives me bias. But going back to my strategy, so I started trading just the 9, and I had the 9 and I had the RSI. I had 2 indicators on my chart, and that's all. And I don't know where. I'd like to give credit to somebody because I don't remember where I got, but I mean, so now I added the 20 in 2021. So I added the 20, and when I did that,
the Iranian economy is in free fall.
When I did that, and I started creating my rules. There's a lot of people that trade this strategy, so it's not like I'm some kind of genius or guru, but and when I started doing that, I really started to have success.
On Iran, saying that the Iranians do not have control of the strait. Again, he's speaking in a Fox News interview.
And I'll tell you, I'll use it on the 5 and the 1 in this kind of scalping environment, 5 minute and the 1 minute. But when things are moving slower, I use the 1 hour and the 15 minutes. So the 1 hour, like you, I get rid of all the noise, and I use the 15 minutes as my entry, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, as my trend. And obviously, this is a wild bucking bronc now, so I'm just scalping now because Trump could say something and drive it up 100 or down 100, and it's just been ludicrous what's happening. So trading news and taking my shots. Like last night, I got 40 points out last night, and I got 40 points out of the ES, and I got 200 points out of the Dow. And those both hit at 6 a.m. on this big drop. But I was short on both those. And this strategy just works for me. It's been what I do. I can
Treasury
execute quickly.
On Iran says the US is firing only when fired upon, and says it's a good time for US partners to step up and pressure Iran.
So if you're interested in my strategy, I did a free PDF. Email me at bighappytradingfreedom@gmail.com. There's no cost, no nothing. I'm not selling anything. I'm strong and passionate about paying it forward to people, because for new traders, this strategy can't be simpler and then just okay, you got it. You mailed me before and got it. Good, yeah. I mean, this is just, to me, is the simplest strategy. I see this, I execute, I click the button. If you ever tried the ICT concepts and those fair value gaps and all that stuff, I mean, I know there's dudes who make money on it, but man, that no, my sons are at school. I got them off early. Yeah, if you know ICT, and there's guys who make a bajillion dollars doing it.
The U.S. consumer says help is on the way today.
It just it was hard for me. That one was hard to wrap my head around. The orb is the easy one that made sense. Because whether you get, if you're doing the 5-minute orb or the 15-minute orb or the hour orb, you just bracket that time frame, and if it goes, you have closing above or below. So that makes complete sense. And there's a lot of dudes I watched their videos on their orb traders, and
Besant says every carrier through Hormuz has about 2 million barrels.
so Besant's giving some good news here. I had my stop set to break even. I got now 2 break even trades. Gosh darn it. Yeah, Jade Cap. Yeah, that's also it took out one of my contracts to break even, so we're still in one. Okay. So I'm still in the trade.
Statement from the UAE say the situation is currently safe after a potential threat alert. So again, this comes after witnesses reporting earlier that the UAE issued a potential missile threat warning. Again, the UAE now saying the situation is currently safe after a potential threat alert.
Boy, the UAE leaving OPEC and declaring Iran an enemy is pretty big for that region. Yeah, Jade Cap. I've seen a ton of his videos. Those videos on that. There's another dude who does. What's that guy who does orb? Let me find this dude. You'll know the guy when I show him to you. I'm searching real quick here.
Treasury Secretary Besant says China has been buying 90% of Iranian energy.
Here, I'll show you. You'll know this guy. This dude right here.
This one candle makes me money every single day. You don't need a bias. It shows up every single day, and it happens at market open. The candle that I'm talking about is your opening range candle. What you want to do is mark.
Treasury Secretary Besant says that next week's summit is a chance for Trump and China's President Xi to share views.
Or you want to wait for a break below your opening range candle and look for a retest towards the downside. You can see we're now on SPY on the 5-minute chart, and what we want to do is mark your opening range candle low and your opening range candle high. You want to wait for a break above or below this key candle and wait for a retest at that level. As you can see right here, we have a strong candle closure underneath your opening range candle low, and now we can be looking for a retest of this key area or pushes towards the downside. As you can see, price ends up tapping it in the very next candle. That's where you can look to go in short. If they stop just to break above, then you can look to target a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. You can see just like that. Price
Anyway, yeah, you've seen Max. I'm sure you've seen Max options trading. Yeah, you've seen that dude, I'm sure, right? So Max options trading, the dude with the ponytail. I like that he'll. Oh, you've never seen that dude? Yeah, he's a huge orb trader. That dude. If you just Max options, if you ever want, if not that you want to, if you're not trading that strategy, but that's his jam. He's got a whole. And there's several ways to trade it. And I was the success I was having was when we would block out the 5-minute orb, right? And if it would break, and then I would retest back to the break level, I'd set an order. And then I even tried setting an order at 50% of the range and different things. So there you can have success in me. I just don't think the edge is there. And my edge here plays out. Just hey, I'll give you a little bit of background. So since I've been trading this in 2021, I've got just under a 64% win rate. So, um, but obviously my winners are bigger than my losers. So that's how I'm 100% profitable for 5 years plus with this strategy. Now, obviously, some days and weeks are bigger than others, and but it's so simple, and it's this. There is an edge here, and like I said, some of the S&B guys that trade just the 9, um, they're kind of the ones that really gave validity for me. There's a couple of their guys there I followed years and years and years ago, but I mean, some of those guys are trading huge, you know, huge books, and I'm not a huge book, but I only trade a cash account. But I think this is a good strategy for. I bought my first props. I haven't done anything with it. Um, but I bought my first. I bought them three of them. They're like $30 each for three $25,000 accounts. I haven't done anything with them yet. I get a lot of people message me and ask me about prop firm trading. This 920 EMA Cross is a perfect strategy to get to pass and to have small losses and get and grind and get your wins. This is a perfect strategy, in my opinion. Because that's I trade my cash account like number one is protecting capital is my number one job. So simplicity is the is that's what I need. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I need to see something and be able to click the button. If I have too many things going on. So the only indicators that I have is the blue line, which is the 9, the fat line, which is the 20, and I got the fancy one that turns red when it's going down and green going up, but that's just a 20. I have the VWAP, which is the white line, and I have the RSI. So I got 4 indicators, and that's all I've used for years, and that's all I'm ever going to use. I'll look on my broker because this is my trading view that you see, and I've got 2 brokers that I use and have trades on. But the only other thing I have on the broker chart that's not on here is I have the 200. Just another confluence. If we're under the 200, we're under the VWAP. I like being short, and I have volume. And volume matters to me after after the first hour of the market close. Volume matters because if it's driving, you get some weird like at 1 p.m. and you get some funky volume. Is either going to be some news or something happened, or that could be a sign of a larger run up and or run down. So if it's in your favor or against you, that I just I'm not a, there's some people that trade that volume and like volume spikes. I just look at it as another confluence or another warning sign, depending upon which direction it's going. But four indicators, that's all I use. That's it. So Trump and Xi are meeting next week. What is this? What does this mean? U.S. Treasury Secretary Percent says to the U.S. consumer, help is on the way today. Man, there's a lot of uncertainty here. I don't know. That's hmm. Hey, I'm gonna mute for a second, brother. I gotta make a call real quick. All right, we got what, 4 minutes to the open. Let's see what we got going on here.
One minute now until we get the market on open imbalance. Ten seconds.
I love this financial juice guy. Runs it down.
Market on open imbalance. S&P 500 a sell side of 243 million. Nasdaq 100 buy side of 10 million. Dow 30 sell side of 33 million. Mag 7 buy side 18 million. Reports that Intel announces leadership appointments to advance client computing and enable future innovation. So this is Intel appointing a Kutuzian as Executive Vice President and General Manager of Client Computing and Physical AI. The shares of Intel are now down around 1% out of the opening gate here.
Did you go long or short on gold? I forgot to ask you what your trade was. Ah. I'm moving into a new house here in the next couple of weeks, so coordinating with all my vendors and trading. They're all blowing me up here in the morning.
We're hearing now from an HMM spokesperson saying that a fire happened at a bulk carrier owned by Korean shipper HMM. It's not clear whether the fire was caused by an attack or internally.
I can't believe Iran is going to be okay with us just
I did hear
moseying.
reports earlier from Yonhap citing South Korea saying that they were checking whether the Korean vessel was attacked in Hormuz Again, we're now just saying that a fire has happened on a bulk carrier owned by a Korean shipper, but it's not clear whether the fire caused by an attack or internally.
I can't believe Iran's just going to be okay with us moseying ships across the strait. So your gold short, did you hit this one this morning? I'm assuming here. So you shorted on this the 6 a.m. 5:50 news. Oh, from Asia Open. Okay. Oh, you're in Vietnam. Oh man, you're just the person I want to talk to. So, I used to work for 20 years. I worked for a Japanese company, and we opened up factories all over the world. I ran North America, so we had factory in California, which is terrible for business, and I opened up two factories in Mexico. But I was blessed to be able to travel all over Asia and Southeast Asia as we opened factories. We had factories in
South
Thailand.
Korea's maritime ministry said that the explosion happened in the engine room at the Korean vessel on Monday.
So we opened up factories in Thailand, obviously multiple factories in Japan, and we had four factories in China, Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. And Vietnam is, and I have many Vietnamese friends because we used to live in California. But my family, I told my wife this 20 years ago. I could live in Vietnam or I could live in Thailand without thinking about it. And and I know there's a ton of expats moving to Da Nang, which is Tom. So where are you in Vietnam? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, you're in Da Nang. That's awesome. Yeah, I have millions of dong sitting in my desk right next to me that I didn't cash in when I left. We have a factory in Hanoi in the north. My old company, not me. My old company has a factory in the north, and I was in. I went to Hanoi during that factory tour, and then we came in. We went through Da Nang. This is probably 15 years ago. Hold on a second. I got to take this call real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to mute real quick for to take a call. Yeah. So anyway, I was in Da Nang probably trying to think what year it was there. Must have been 12 years ago when I was in Hanoi, and then we went to Da Nang just for a team building activity there. But boy, I look at videos now. There's all kinds of people who I follow, who expats who move to Da Nang, and boy has it changed. And Vietnam and all of Southeast Asia, I believe the leadership there has the best plans um, for bringing everybody up, the middle class, and creating a bigger middle class. And they're gonna get uh, nuclear reactors built so they can be energy independent. That's humongous. But I think what they're doing in Vietnam is just spectacular. So are you Vietnamese or did you move to Vietnam? Well, I don't think you could have made a better choice of where to be, brother. Um, that's awesome. How long have you lived in Vietnam? You're from South Africa. Okay, wow, that's awesome. That's just epic. So it's I think it's like 12 hours exactly, right? So it's 9:44 p.m. there. Ah, 8:40. Okay, yeah. So 11 hours. I thought it was 12, but yeah, that's awesome. I trade the Asia sessions sometimes. Like last night, I got in. Um, if I don't have right now, I coach my boys in little league. If I don't have little league, I'll get in there and. But now that I practice in games almost every single night during the week, so I very rarely trade. Last night was my birthday, so I got in and got short on a couple on the YM and the ES. So I got in short on those, and that's pretty good. So the Korean tanker was just oh, thank you. Yeah, the Korean was just a fire in the engine room. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine. He doesn't have any family, and he's a trader. And I'm like, dude, Yeah, they claim. I'm with you. That sounds really. Why'd you even report it if you were fired upon, and then all of a sudden you have a fire? But yeah, the media, they don't want anything bad to be reported. Um, but a buddy of mine, he's a trader. I said, dude, I said, if I was a single guy and didn't have kids, my kids are 9, 11 in school. Um, we play baseball and all the stuff we do here. I said, but if I was a single dude and I was a trader, it's what are the odds of I'm talking to a guy from Da Nang right now. I told him, I said, I would move to Da Nang in 5 minutes. I'm saying I can't. Obviously, I don't, I've got my whole family and my whole life is here because I'm raising my kids. They're in elementary school. Um, but I said in the future, when my boys graduate high school, when my 9-year-old graduates in 9 years, I'm like, my wife and I we would move to Vietnam in 5 seconds. My wife's from Taiwan, so not far from Taiwan either. And we could, I mean, the cost of living, the quality of life, the health. People are so much health conscious, and the food, and we exercise, and the coffee culture. I'm the biggest coffee hunk in the world. Yeah, I mean, but you could live outside of the expat area, closer to locals, and still be, if you want to be close to the beach or by the riverside. I mean, there's so many options, and eventually the construction will slow down, right? As they keep growing, growing, growing. But I know it's a huge issue. One of the guys, Sammy Walks. This guy, all he does is he like does videos almost every day, and he walks and talks about how the area has changed. And he's a German dude who's lived there for like I think he's lived there like um 3 or 4 years. And anyway, I think that's a great call of you living there, and that's fantastic. I think it's just the coolest thing ever. But my buddy, I'm like, tell him like, roll the dice, man. Keep your stuff here and go live in Da Nang for a month. Oh yeah, see all the same guys. Yeah, I follow all those guys. Yeah, Sammy Walks,
10
Travis
minutes time
Travels,
now at the top of the hour. We see the US factory orders data for the month of March.
and there's a
month forecast 0.6% from the prior 0%. Durable goods forecast 0.8% unchanged from the prior, and core durable goods forecast 0.9% unchanged from the prior.
and there's one other dude, Kevin Romes or something. It's a dude who moved from Syracuse, New York, and he tracked his whole journey of preparing before he left and how he left and all that kind of stuff. So that guy posts almost every day. So yeah, I watch all these guys. Um, and I really started watching for my buddy. I said, dude, I said, go. In he lives in a very expensive area. Midwest where I live is affordable. Not Vietnam affordable, but rent and utility. I mean, for America, where I live in the Midwest, is probably one of the most affordable places there is. He lives in a blue city, which is very expensive. And I told him, like, dude, I don't even know why. He's divorced. He got no. His kids are gone. They're out away from the house. I said, your kids can come visit you, whether they don't come see you now, but they could come see you in Vietnam and be fantastic. I mean, anyway. Let me find the other dude who I was talking about. The Kevin something. Probably, if you've seen all those guys, then you know. Roaming with Kevin. That's his thing. How funny! I'm talking to a dude from when I was just in this and shit. So this guy, if you've not seen him, this is his. He's really just a young channel, but he did this first walk. This is he's been there for a month, and he did his. He's walking at like 3 in the morning on the beach. And anyway, if you've not followed that cat, he's another. I'm eager to see how his journey goes. I know there's we got the honeymoon phase, right? During the first, you got the honeymoon phase during the first month. So let's see how he does. I'm rooting for him. Yeah, there's a lot of them. I know there's a lot of them that come there, and but really the only guys I would, the people who live there. How long have you lived there? Did you tell me that already, or did I ask that? I don't know. Oh, 7 months. Boy, I'd really. So, what are your thoughts? So I can share with my buddy. And like, you're one of the first people that I've talked to live that lived there, and you moved from South Africa to Vietnam 7 months. That's a courageous move, man. Yeah, yeah. Love the place, hate the tourists. We used to live in Southern California, uh, and we lived not too far from Disneyland. And my wife is a humongous Disneyland fan, and we were about, with no traffic, we were about 30 minutes from the beach. But there's never not traffic in Southern California, so same thing, man. If it wasn't for the tourists, we really could have uh, enjoyed that. So, are you near the beach? Or are you near the Dragon Bridge, Riverside? Where do you live?
In 5 minutes' time now, at the top of the hour, we get the US factory orders data for the month of March. Month over month forecast 0.6% on the prior 0%. We also get the US durable goods revised data for March as well. Forecast 0.8%, unchanged from the prior.
Yeah, 5 minutes from the beach. That's spectacular.
0.9%, unchanged from the prior.
But not everyone's beach people. The beach sounds romantic, but I am a beach person. Uh, my wife's really not. So the beach sounds more romantic when you do it. Like we lived in California, we probably went to the beach 5, 6 times a year because she didn't love it and I loved it. But you get busy with life. But if you live 5 minutes away, that's a whole different thing of being able to go there. How is the weather different than South Africa? Because I don't know. I don't know weather in South Africa. So you've been there 7 months, so you haven't been through a whole year. Yeah, I see that like at 5 a.m. the beach is slammed with all the locals. Oh, for you and not a big change, similar weather. Like that would be um for me from the Midwest. Um for me in the Midwest, it snows here. Our winter it can get minus Fahrenheit can get -2, which I don't know what that is Celsius, like really cold. But and during the summer we probably get to 90 and humid. I know it's real humid there. I've been to Thailand when it was really humid, and my wife is from Taiwan, which is very humid. So we've been there and seen. But you don't have to adjust the weather because I know a lot of people that's a big change for a lot of them. That's interesting. Yeah, Bangkok. I was in Bangkok where man, I almost melted. I've been there. I've probably been to Bangkok and Thailand maybe 5 times. Because we opened up 2 factories there, and man, you're right on that. I've never been that hot. But then we went down to if you'd have to be in the water if you're going to live by the in Thailand. I'd have to be by the beach to be able to get in the water. That's crazy. But the beach in Vietnam looks clean and the water looks nice. The beaches are very long and wide, which looks fantastic.
One minute remaining. I'll lead with US factory orders month over month.
Let's see what kind of orders come in from the U.S. factories. I don't know if that's going to be a market mover or not, but if they're really good, it could. Not much red folder news today. Oh, so the beach in the north is a bit unkept.
10 seconds.
Yeah, the beaches. When you see Sammy and the other guys walking on the beaches in the tourist area, those are really nice. Those are spectacular.
One spot 5%, one spot 5% higher than forecast, 0.6%. Durable goods revised to 0.8% as expected. Core durable goods 0.9% as expected.
So a little better. The factory order is a little better. This no big change. So you just trade gold? Oh, you like oil too? Yeah, I hit an oil short on Friday. Yeah, phew, talk about the swings. One tweet from Trump or one attack.
We have posted the factory orders report for March on the feed for those interested.
Yeah, like oil on obviously when the indices go down, oil goes up, right? They're inverse. But hey, look at that. That's a pretty big man. That's a big drop. That'd have been a nice long and into a nice short. You know, here's my thought on oil. Eventually, this thing is going to be, if you can, if I can carry it, you know, with the margin, if you can carry the margin, that's the problem for a lot of people is if you want to carry it overnight, that the margin, you know, is going to kill you. But I was in an oil short for a couple days, and I got, let me look, let's go here, I'll show you what. So going to the hour. So I got in oil at about, I just marked today's. So I was short oil at 103, and then it shot up to and hovered at 106. So I was down, like, but I know it's gonna pop back, so I put it down to 101, and it came back down and filled me. But I had to endure that. I'm like, I know good news is gonna come, even if it's fake good news. That's the thing. Fake good news will drop oil, right, and drive it up, and the whole market. This is just such a news-driven cycle. But if I'm going to be anything, when it rips up to these 110s or 107s or anything like this, be short, because even if there's just one tweet from Trump or one fake good news, you know, oil drops and the market goes up. So just this is such manipulation. Like I don't like to say like I've never seen, but like I've never seen. Just to manipulate this stuff like sure would be nice if Trump could give you and I a call when he's going to drop a, you know, just 5 minutes before he's going to drop a tweet. Let us know if it's going to be good or bad, and we could make a bajillion dollars on our accounts like all of his buddies do. Yeah, this was, I was, I figure we would just be in a range. Yeah, yeah, just make friends with his family. Uh, I'm teaching my boys to trade. I'm going to have to get, see if my boys can make friends with Barron. All right, hey, good night, brother. Get some sleep. Okay, brother, we'll do. Yeah, I'll set you up. But get some. Okay, get some sleep, brother. That's not good. What's happening here? Why is this going up? All right. This thing is about to stop me out, but we still have a winning day. I only give it only one small contract left, but I'm gonna run. I gotta go. If you up here on the right, if you want to learn to trade this strategy, which is a very simple strategy, I would tell you just click on this 10-minute video on how to trade the 920 EMA Cross strategy. Very simple, very powerful. I would strongly recommend that you take a look at this. All right, thank you, and have a great day and happy trading. I've had a good day. Good start to Monday.